The Lord is on my side. I will not fear. What can man do to me? Psalm 118, verse 6. Sometimes I feel like God hates me. But as much as God hates me, my fellow man hates me even more. It's as if the whole world has been against me from the very beginning. Obviously, none of this is true, but it's nice to have someone to blame other than myself. One of my earliest memories was in my bed, wrapped in my sheets, trying to ignore my mother's tears. I wanted her to stop crying. But given the circumstances, I may have been wanting too much. My father had just told us he was diagnosed with amyloidosis, a rare and then fatal blood disorder, and all I could do was lie there. For the next 7 years, I didn't see my parents a lot. They weren't there when I realized I was gay. They weren't there when I was groomed online. They weren't there when I was molested. They weren't there when I took my first shot of vodka. I couldn't ask them for help. I didn't want to distract them from making my dad better. Instead, for most of high school, I buried my fears behind drugs, alcohol, and self-harm. I hated myself, and I thought everyone else would too. And when I finally worked up the courage to come out and tell my classmates about my struggles, my worst fears were confirmed. I was edged out of friend groups for being gay, called a bitch for engaging in self-harm, and encouraged to continue my self-destructive behaviors for the amusement of others. I didn't have an identity outside of self-loathing, and I thought that if I tried to love myself, I would lose all connection to reality. Nothing terrified me more than being alone, so I dedicated my life to alcohol. I was drinking 7 days a week and blacking out whenever I could. I thought it would bring me closer to people, but instead, it pushed me away from them. I was ignoring the advice and support of the people I was so desperate not to lose. Instead, I let the waves of despair knock me over, and I refused to get back up again. As long as I had a bottle in my hand, I was happy. I couldn't hide behind alcohol forever, though, and you can't hide anything from your mom. One night I had too much to drink, and I got into a heated argument with my mother. I don't remember the details, but the next morning I woke up with a horrible headache and a sense of dread. My mother knew everything. Unlike me, she didn't give up. Just as she pushed my father through chemo and countless transplants and ultimately saved his life, she pushed me to be more than just an alcoholic. She fought me every step of the way, and I hated her for it. She was cruel and heartless, and just what I needed to emerge from the pit of suffering into which I had dug myself. She pushed me to reclaim my faith, take responsibility for my actions, and move towards a life that would give me meaning. She didn't care if I hated her. She just wanted me to be healthy and happy. More importantly, she showed me that someone did care. Someone cared about me and was on my side. and would spare no personal expense to save my life. This was a reckless, selfless, wholehearted love that I didn't deserve. My mother's not perfect, but if she can love me, there's no way that God can't. After all, he did lay down his life to save me. Today, I'm 90 days sober. Not a day goes by where I don't wish I could drink. But every day, I'm reminded of the blessings that God has given me, because I can finally say no. I'm healthier, happier, and more productive than ever before. I can wake up without pain and regret from the night before, and I can find joy in things I had forgotten in my boozy, delusional haze. More importantly, I can look at myself in the mirror and see a reflection of God's mercy. Instead of facing my fears, I had buried myself in the covers of alcoholism. I felt warm and safe. But I knew that there was a whole world out there and people who loved me. I needed to push back the covers and see the light. I needed to walk into the real world, but I was scared to be vulnerable. However, through love, I could find the strength to move forward. And what greater love is there than the one who laid down his life for a friend? The Lord is on my side.